You guys hear me? Oh, there we go. So hey, everybody give it up for the brand Innovators team. You know, I know you guys do a lot of these, so many events, and thank you, Vitamin Shoppe, for hosting. It's, having an in-person presence with everybody is essential. So thank you for all the Vitamin Shoppe team for hosting everybody.
Yeah, hi everyone, and thank you for our brand Innovators. You might ask, what is she doing here working in lingerie in a health and wellness conference, but we will answer that question, right?
Yeah, we're gonna have a little fun. So do some quick introductions. I'm Todd, Ulise, SVP of Ad.net, as Vito said. Ad.net built a search platform outside of Google and Bing. I've been there for 11 years. Prior to that, I owned an ad agency, worked with a lot of comedians, entertainers. For about 5 years. Prior to that, I ran the publishing team at a big display network. So basically, raise your hand if you've been in digital for over 20 years. I knew Jason and Joe and stuff that would raise their hands. So yeah, 30 years. So little gray hairs as possible. So toss it to Sabrina for her introduction too.
Oh my God, 23 years too, so, but no gray hair. Look at that. So I am SVP of Brand and Digital, which means that I oversee DTC, so our e-com business, our new stores. We just opened our own stores, as well as brand marketing, digital marketing, and creative for Hanky Panky.
That's awesome. And we're going to tell a little bit about the brand story, right? We're going to kind of go through that. Hanky Panky is a family-run business, or a friend-run business, 40 years. Tell a little bit about the brand values and kind of how you got there, and obviously some of the stuff that you've built, and we can obviously tie it into the wellness piece.
Well, I think the story is what got me in. When they reached out to me, I was at Lofton & Taylor, so really into retail and big brands, and they told me about their story, and I thought it was so interesting, coming from apparel, to understand a little bit more the intimates industry. But not only the intimates industry, when you hear a story of two women, two best friends, who created their company in 1977, so imagine how hard it must be as women entrepreneurs, out of just one idea. I think the designer, who's still here, she's 75, she's still working, she's still the founder, created a set of intimates for her best friend out of handkerchiefs. And you can still see it at the Met. Right now it's exposed, and it started that way, and she said, oh, that's so cute. Let me show that to my friend who ran part of the business at Nordstrom. And she said, I love it. Can you produce more? And then it started that way. These two are still best friends after 45 years. I still see them around every day. But what's fascinating and brings us to kind of the wellness topic is that they grew this business over 45 years. They were profitable every single year out of doing one thing, caring about women. That's it. They didn't care about selling products. They did. Obviously, right now we're in more than 70 countries. We're still leaders in lace and panties. We work with all department stores. We have a huge growth in DTC. But it was just that. Caring about women and caring about not just how they look like, but how they feel. And one key product that they created, part of the story, was in 1986. They created the first thong that was comfortable enough for women to wear every day. Going with women, starting to work, executive women, etc., etc. It took them 16 years to do it, and to do it right. To different women's anatomy, background, how we move, what happens in our life, etc. This product is a piece of technology at the end, and it's US made. And they just did that out of caring for women. And the bit with wellness, and I thought it was fantastic and so interesting when I joined, was she told me we care about women, and I'm like, let's get into that. What is the emotional and the wellness aspect of women picking their underwear in the morning? That's the first thing we do in the morning. And I think all women can relate to wearing an uncomfortable thong. It's the worst. And we started to do a lot of customer research around that topic, around how women feel, from a health aspect, but also how they feel in their body, how they feel in their skin, and how can we uplift them through all their life stages. So great story, and I think it cannot happen if it's not women funded and women led.
Yeah, and one of the, looking at some of the research of the company, one of your founders said it's about giving women confidence. And we did our conversation yesterday, talking a little bit about the first thing in the morning. Kind of starting the day. Right? Tell us about kind of the confidence piece and tying that into wellness, because it seems like obviously a natural fit. You have confidence in who you are. So kind of talk a little bit about that confidence level starting the day, and then ultimately, we can kind of tie into some of the things you're looking at and building, and obviously for the future to take the brand story and amplify it to continue to grow the business.
Yeah, well, I will start with what we do as brand marketers. Usually we look at what are the triggers of purchase, right? But we don't look, at least that's the first thing we do. And some of us look at what are the triggers and what happens when they use the product. And sometimes this is even more interesting. So we look at the drivers of purchase. And the first thing that we learn, and we did that with Morning Consult, with different waves and the research of US women, and really this idea of morning routine came back, because that's the first thing, that's the first decision you make in the morning, and 90% of them said it's about how they want to feel, right? The other 10% was about, I'm wearing a red outfit, so I always wear red panties. Some people never like it that way, but it was really about, how you want to feel, and we got a lot of insights about the feelings that they want to get. So not only does it have to be comfortable, it has to be soft to the skin, but also they want to feel good in their skin. So flattering fit, do I feel sexy and feminine in my panties? Even if no one will see it during the day, it's really powerful. They told us that it took even more importance, and Gen Z told us that, than their makeup routine. That is one of the biggest, it's the first, and then makeup and beauty, and then comes their coffee, whatever is their breakfast routine. So that's a very important trigger. And then we also investigated, other aspects of how they feel. Like, for example, sexual wellness, we can take that one. A lot of brands like Victoria's Secret or Rihanna are doing a great job at democratizing, how you look like. But not a lot of brands are really looking into how you feel. And to feel sexy, you have to feel good in your own skin. And it goes way beyond, kind of a beautiful design. So we spend, I think we have half of the design team in R&D to understand your anatomy, to understand how it sits on your hips, etc., so you really feel feminine, comfortable, and your best. Then you can be confident.
So from a marketing standpoint, did you do customer surveys? How did you kind of take that feedback loop to obviously enhance the messaging, the product? It's a little bit more about, how did you land on the feeling and the confidence from a consumer perspective?
But first, I was lucky enough, I joined a year and a half ago when I realized the love and the trust women have. I don't know if you can relate here, but usually, most of the women really love the brand, and so it was easy for us to get insights from our customers. So we did a lot of surveys, we had focus groups on specific topics, sexual wellness being one, that's why I quoted it. And then we also run surveys with Morning Consult, over 2,000 US women. It was income over 75K, so it represents most of the women here, and that's where we started to dig into these topics and learn so much. From a marketing perspective, you were just talking about UGC. That's gold. It's just if you can relate to a brand, if you can relate to the mission of the brand, to uplifting all women and all versions of women, that's a big, ambitious goal. Knowing that, and one data point that I can, you can bring to your business that really fascinated me was that only 29% of US women felt were represented in marketing. Only 29%. And we're in 2023. It grew by a few points over the last decade because we started to show different body shapes, different, backgrounds, but that's it. Did we really talk about what women think, how they feel, what they want, the different life stages, the things that are deemed taboo, what society wants you to represent and to feel? That is something that I think marketers have a responsibility to investigate.
100%. And did you find for Hanky Panky that most of your consumers are long-term loyal, will only go to Hanky Panky. It seems like you have a core loyal group based on the values. That question. And also, anything surprised you kind of about the data, that you didn't expect?
A lot of things surprised me. Coming from like big established brand, I would start with the one that surprised me in a bad way, I would say, and all the amazing ones. So the first one was, the awareness is pretty low for a brand that has been around for 45 years, not on East Coast and West Coast, but when you look at it from the US perspective, there's much work to do because they didn't really invest in marketing so far. But on the other hand, it was amazing to see that we had such loyal customers. It's amazing. My repeat purchase rate is twice the industry. My conversion rate is 3 times the industry average that I've seen before. So from a loyalty perspective, I'm all covered. I'm just like, that is, I would say from a strategy perspective, it's more about how do I turn them into advocates, right? And talking about your lingerie doesn't happen, every day. So that's one thing, but the main focus for me is really focusing on acquisition, on raising brand awareness, on bringing this product to more women, because my new customers, and I'm up 50% on new customers year on year, are coming back, and in a big way. So what I was focusing in big corporation on conversion rates, on ROAS, etc. Here I'm just focused on, making sure that this brand gets in front of women, that we can deliver this amazing, what I hear, game-changing experience to more, and also cover more of their life stages with innovations, and bring, this confidence and this uplifting moment with to women who are post-pregnancy, or maybe younger women, or maybe men at some point, I don't know, but we have a nice roadmap.
Yeah, it seems like obviously your core customer set is we say influencers or creators now? Influencers, obviously activate an action community, which potentially means your friend and mattress can be somewhat more loose once you get them in the funnel. So talk a little about the topic at hand, confidence, and tie that into wellness, and talk about some of the strategies and marketing initiatives that you're kind of looking at from a wellness perspective to kind of tie it into the core brand values.
So it starts with really focusing on how you feel, and even from, we were talking about UGC or content, bring the content with first, what is my personal benefit as a woman if I buy this product, then what's the functional benefit, and then what's the societal benefit of it, and in that order. It works every time for us. They don't want to know all the information on your product if you don't tell them what it will bring to them in their own life and in their own environment. So that's the first thing. Let's take my word most comfortable thong. I will always tell you how you will feel into it, like feminine and comfortable. And then I can tell you from a health perspective, for example, we use only Supima cotton that is grown in the US, in California and Texas actually, just to create the gusset of your product. So talking about health, no chemicals, grown in the US in a sustainable way. You don't know what you wear when you buy, fast fashion lingerie. Going down to creating product like femtech products, we're interested in that too. And then I can talk about the social aspect of it and the good you do by doing it. So that's one thing that I'm doing, and from a marketing perspective. Two, we're working with experts. We're creating what we call for now a care group because we don't know everything, and you need experts when you start, developing femtech products, for example, and where we start talking about younger women or post-pregnancy or menopause, etc. So we're building experts as kind of an advisory group for marketing and merch to really tell us what is the last research on the topic. I'm taking one that maybe some of you are familiar with, the PFAs in products. If you want to start, playing in femtech, you can either just go for it, find a brand, associate your name with it, and then launch it. Some of the lingerie brands, I heard some of them launch more than 200 products every year. I don't know how they do that. It takes us at at least 3 years to do it right. So do all the testing, make sure that we're compliant, make sure that we understand the regulation until we bring a product. I cannot be this heritage, legacy, trusted brand without making sure that every single box is checked. So I think it's how you build trust over time and not be in the rush of growing without any limit, and really put your customer at the center at the end. What is, you can uplift women, but you have to also stay on point and make sure that you deserve the trust you're getting. And it's a huge responsibility when it's such a love brand.
Yeah, and it seems like obviously you've built a holistic approach, where it's not, health isn't one thing, it's the end-to-end, the whole consumer journey. Have you heard any feedback, I'm guessing there's no, love for you to use it, about price sensitivity? Obviously anybody can, go buy product for a low cost. Do you find any price sensitivity, or is it not even a question with some of your consumers' minds based on, the overall ecosystem that they're buying into and the love they have for the brand?
Well, I wish I could say there's no question around it. I don't see any brand not being impacted by this. So first, we're lucky to be on the premium part of the market. I think we're less impacted. I am very impacted from a marketing perspective, because we're 90% full price. So we don't play the promo game. So when you're, as a marketing leader, of course we had inventory challenges also. Of course you're rushed to go and play the promo game. As I said at the beginning, 45 years of being profitable. So we do not grow our top line sales without looking at the effect on our bottom line. So what it means is, like, how do you boost your full price sales while you have this price sensitivity? It's everything we talked about. You have to justify why your price point is higher than your direct competitor. You have to do it on all touch points. So it starts with how you get in front of new customers. So going back to the customer journey, how do you make sure, and wellness is a key aspect of it. It's a key driver. 78% of our customers told us that is the main driver for them to buy lingerie. And it's not health related. It could be just, I had a very hard day, I need something to boost my mood, I will just grab a few colored panties by checkout because it will make me feel better. So I want to feel better, I want to feel better in my skin. If you give that to women, they don't mind about, spending $24 or $30 on a product that will last for a long time. Our product lasts more than 10 years, so it's not like you wear it and then you throw it away. But you have to talk about durability, about the personal benefits, and you have to create, emotional stories also. So we really focus on that. Of course, we had great promo times also. We play the big moments also, but we keep it at 90% of our sales, and we're up double digits on a market that is down double digits. So
congratulations! It shows it's just amplifying and kind of getting the core values of the customer. I mean, talking about like how have you done it? Without divulging anything that you can't. Some of the channels that have helped you amplify the room of marketers. Hey, how have you achieved that success over and above taking the story and frankly amplifying it to a new and burgeoning growth consumer base?
So I think it's two things. The first one that we covered is like, how do you reposition the brand while being, aligned with the heritage of it. I said it, I have the two founders behind my back every day. So I have to be very, I have to get their trust, and I think what they built is amazing. But then you have to bring it to, your day-to-day customers. So wellness became a topic in all of our meetings because I really wanted to amplify what we were doing there, but also make sure that it informs our innovation roadmap. But how did I get to, last year we're up 40%, which is huge. It was more from a CMO perspective. I built a team without any silo, a team that will embrace the vision and this new positioning, and a team with the same KPIs. So when you think about that, usually in brand marketing, you don't touch e-com. I come from brand marketing. I worked for years in big advertising agencies, but I'm passionate about customer data. And if you own your customer data, if you understand your customer data, then you can really inform all of your strategies. You have to be able to combine business performance with brand equity growth. You have to be able to balance both. And if you do not oversee both, which happened in my life so many times, you're like preaching for things that no one will listen to because you come with your brand marketing idea and they tell you, I no budget because business is not doing good. So how do you really establish what are the objectives, what's the vision, and make sure you have a team without any silo that can work together. Today, my creative team is asking for data every day to my email team to understand, how can they optimize the emails. My e-com team understand the brand strategy and that, having a better storytelling on some touch points will amplify will improve our conversion rate. But if you don't have these teams, talking to each other, if they're incentivized on different KPIs, then it doesn't work. So I would say that's, I think, what moved the needle the most.
No, it's often overlooked. When we look external, sometimes you go look internal. What's on your radar for the next kind of few years as you've been there for a year and a half? You've grown, restructured. What's on your radar? The next evolution of wellness, for Hanky Panky, because it seems like obviously you have a core consumer base. You have a great product, the biggest advocates, the slate's pretty open for you to create, which is, probably why most of us get into marketing. Like, what's next? What's your vision for the next few years with the brand?
So let's assume the market gets there. That's the first assumption. So I can go faster. I think it's finding ways to streamline how to go to market, and that's a big challenge because, as I said, we need years to bring a new product to life. So the first thing was, what's our innovation roadmap? How do we bring this game-changing experience that all women love to other categories? So it's really category expansion, innovation. That's a key one. And then it's really about brand awareness. So finding the right ambassadors, the right partners, to help us grow and stick with our balance between brand equity and business performance. When I tell my media agency, guys, right now CAC is too high, so let's really focus on branding, they're looking at me just, you're crazy. No, I'm not, because that's something that I have under my control. And I think it's finding the right partners who will listen to your long-term strategy and really help you get there. So I have a robust 3-year roadmap. I don't want to change anything except the tactical things along the way to really stick to my customers. The deep research we've done was really to inform our innovation roadmap. We're also expanding globally, so that's something that I have on my radar for sure. Just how do we bring this success in e-com? I invite you to go to our stores. We have one on Bleecker Street, for example, and that's a great example. When you create a store on Bleecker Street and you're able to break even after 8 months, how do you replicate it, right? So I hope the environment will be better. I hope we can bring to life all of these great strategies. And, if more, I don't know if you saw, like, Dua Lipa just launched, the Barbie movie, was wearing a transparent dress. Of course she was wearing Hanky Panky. The thing is, most of them do. Most of these celebrities we know do, but usually they don't wear a transparent dress. So I need more of this.
Can you take those spikes in inquiry volume and interest and replicate that daily?
I'm sold out.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes good moment. So I think we have a couple minutes. Does anybody have, this is amazing, Sabrina, thank you. Does anybody have any questions, obviously?
Do you remember a woman named Judy Stewart?
Yes.
Could you tell the audience us all about
I heard her name, but do you know the story?
No. Well, she's one of the people who worked in the innovation of Hanky Panky. She's an amazing woman. How do you describe a Hanky Panky woman?
So,
who is she?
I will tell you from the founder's perspective, because I think that's the best. I can describe it based on data, but it's someone who is looking for comfort first, durability in her product, but also she wants to feel feminine and confident and sometimes powerful. We're talking, most of our customers are active. most of them are in your jobs also, they still want to feel feminine no matter what. They want to feel themselves. I think the best story I heard was really like women just after pregnancy. I still want to feel myself. Women who are going through menopause, I still want to feel myself. Talking about things related to health, like we just had a focus group on women going through like small leakages, and it's a daily problem. So how do we solve it? How can they stay feminine in themselves while having, the solution for their pain points? Sexual wellness. How can I be, who I am and do what I want to do, without having any societal norms, applying to me. So they're very confident, and I think it's a reflection of the of Gail, the founder, but also of this woman, because she told me about her. I don't have the full story, but I know she was surrounded by very powerful, confident women who were able to make it happen. Again, going back to 1977, and you create your company, and you're still here, you're still working, still best friends, because they stuck to that. American made, most of it, because some fabrics cannot be found in the US, unfortunately, but everything that we can do in the US, we do it in the US, and cotton was an example.
Like, I could say to you, I love your dress, where did you get it? You can't say to me, I love your panties, where did you get it?
Exactly.
Unless I'm wearing, I mean, it's just, it's a hidden.
Well, you can, it would just be awkward.
You will love my panties. So, I mean, what I love, I'm a hanky pank woman without a hanky pank wallet. They're very expensive. I'm hanky pankish, but.
But that's why I said one of my challenges is the advocacy side of things, because being in apparel is easy, to drive advocacy. Now it's really word of mouth. It's really based on the advocacy of the associates in department stores also. You ask any associate, you go to Nordstrom, Bloomingdale, or Neiman, you ask for the best panty, they will always bring you to Hanky Panky.
Always.
So, always. And that's what, it's a hidden secret.
And then I look at the price and I go, ah! And then, I don't eat for the next week and I buy the panties.
Yeah, but when that's my job to make sure that you understand what you get, with
What
it.
celebrities do you have? You have a lot of celebrities.
Oh my God, can I talk about the secrets of our celebrities? But I wouldn't lie if I tell you that if you, I don't know, I would say maybe half of them, even Kim Kardashian said that she was wearing Hanky Panky before creating Skims.
Get out.
She did. Check it out.
What doesn't she do? I mean.
No, she does everything, but I think she was wearing us. But a lot of them, I think it goes back to the product. That's why I joined also. It's the story, it's the product. Yes, there's a challenge with the advocacy side of things because you don't talk about your lingerie that much. But my growth is coming from the existing customers' repeat purchase, but also we're as I said, we're up 50% in new customers years over year. So it's just like being patient and not willing. In the industry, a lot of brands started to spend a lot of money in marketing, launch a lot of products, but they don't get the repeat purchase that we get. So call it sustainable growth. So hopefully that's what's next for us, is to continue growing that way.
Doing something right.